How's everyone doing? Today I have a Blu-ray mail day with 8 pickups right here. And if you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them, especially since there's a bunch in here that I haven't seen. There are a couple in here that I have seen, but it's been a while. For instance, the first one from Welgo USA, this is the definitive remastered edition of Takashi Miike's Ichi the Killer. And let me know what your favorite Takashi Miike film is. This is my second favorite. Audition would be my first. I haven't seen this in years. I used to have the old DVD Blood Pack edition. Actually, I still do have it, which it all dried up. It's funny because there's a lot of those Blood Pack editions in the U.S. and they don't retain their blood or liquid at all. But the international ones, I have a few Blood Packs from overseas, and they all retain their liquid. So I don't know, something they're putting in the chemicals or whatever, the plastic coating does better. But Ichi the Killer was just so over the top, bloody, hilarious, ridiculous, but so entertaining. I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. I know this had a previous Blu-ray release, and I remember hearing the transfer was terrible for it. So this actually is director approved for the transfer, and it's got audio commentary with Takashi Miike in here, and so looking forward to checking this newly remastered edition right here. And I love that cover art for it too, so that's pretty cool. Definitely excited for that. Welgo USA doing a good job with this release. So Ichi the Killer. Next up is Kickboxer Retaliation, also from Welgo USA. This was the follow-up to the other recent Kickboxer movie, and it has Alain Moussi in here, who's very talented, does some awesome stunt work. The best thing I could say about this movie is the stunts and fight sequences are pretty awesome, but the rest of the storyline and plot is just kind of basic, which is kind of what you get for a lot of these martial arts action kind of movies. It has a ton of UFC fighters in here. I couldn't even name them all. You've got Mike Tyson, Jean-Claude Van Damme's back again, Christopher Lambert's in here, Highlander, a whole Vanderlei Silva, Ronaldinho, Soccer Guy, so many recognizable people in here. The big countries in here from the UFC. Like I said, there are so many UFC fighters. It's hard to keep track of them. The Mountain from Game of Thrones is in here. He's the big villain guy, and it's basically, you know, him being taken to prison, and he's essentially forced to fight against his will. The big mountain guy at the end, and you know, he's just imprisoned, and he's trying to, you know, escape and trying to figure out. And then they take his wife. And so he's really forced to fight, and yeah, so it's kind of contrived. He's training in there, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Mike Tyson help him train. There's a good fight sequence with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson still looks pretty quick, too, you know, punching through stones and stuff, but the biggest thing is the fight sequences in here and the stunts are pretty awesome. That's, again, the plot, very thin. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into for those, and I love the theme song for this, too. The other one, too, really good for the theme song. But, yeah, there's a lot of recognizable fighters in here if you're into mixed martial arts. And I think you'll enjoy it overall. For me, I just wanted a little bit more than just the typical stuff that we always get for these kind of action fight movies. I wanted something, a lot of the things, they could have added a little bit more believability factor, a little bit more authenticity. But, again, the fights are awesome. It's not the same level of like Raid Redemption or anything like that, but it is. I will say Alain Moussi is very impressive, especially his kicks. Holy moly! And the next up is from Lionsgate is Hangman. This stars Al Pacino, Carl Urban, and Brittany Snow. And this is basically a crime thriller. Pacino is a detective, and he partners with a profiler, Carl Urban. And then Brittany Snow is the reporter, and they're trying to find this serial killer. And the serial killer, I guess, is taunting them with like hangman clues, like I guess different letters and stuff like that. They have to figure out who he is before it's too late, before more people get killed. So looking forward to checking that out. Next up from Olive Films is Great Balls of Fire. I love this movie growing up. I haven't seen it in ages. I like the cast a lot too. This is based on a story about Jerry Lee Lewis, who married his 13-year-old cousin, but a great musician. And it's Winona Ryder, Alec Baldwin, and Dennis Quaid in here. I remember enjoying the heck out of it. Looking forward to revisiting this one. And no artwork in there aside from, you know, just the typical disc stuff. But Sometimes it'd be nice to have interior artwork for some of these ones, especially like Olive Films. They put out some really good films, some unique ones that I think if you put a little bit of interior artwork, it'll boost up the release. But I definitely like what they're doing as far as the films that they're releasing. Next up is Dragonwyck, and this is from Twilight Time. This is limited to 3,000 units. This stars Vincent Price, and this is the directorial debut of Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who did All About Eve. So this was his first film, which is pretty cool. This is kind of like a gothic horror. I haven't seen this one before, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. I do like Vincent Price. Let me know what your favorite Vincent Price movie is. And yeah, I guess there's a young woman who's working at a governor's estate, and Vincent Price, he plays Nicholas Van Ryn in here, and there's a magnificent estate and all the luxurious surroundings, and he's, I guess, interested in the young girl, but then there's, you know, terrible things start to happen. So it looks pretty interesting. I'll definitely watch anything with Vincent Price in there. You know what? Everybody raves about Last Man on Earth. I thought that was kind of boring, though. That one, to me, is probably my least favorite of the I Am Legend adaptation. For me, I Am Legend is the best. But here we go. And next up are the two Tomb Raider movies. I know the newest one's coming out with Alicia Vikander. I remember seeing the first one of these out in the theater forever ago, and with Angelina Jolie. These are the 4K Ultra HD releases from Paramount. I'm looking forward to revisiting these in 4K Ultra HD. And this one had Daniel Craig in here too, John Voight, which is obviously her father in real life. And this is directed by Simon West. And there's a few other recognizable people in here too. The next one is Cradle of Life. There we go. I was gonna say Cradle of Filth. That wasn't it. But I'm trying to remember who else was in here. Gerard Butler, Syrian Hands, and I don't know. There's some other people too that are recognizable. But all out action. Angelina Jolie looking hot. And yeah, I dig it. So I'm looking forward to revisiting these ones. And I am looking forward to seeing the Alicia Vikander one. The trailers didn't really suck me in too much, but I'm a big fan of her, so I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot. Next up from Arrow Video is Godard Goran. This is 5 films from 1968 to 1971. Beautiful looking box set. Arrow Video, again, they just do an amazing job with their releases, and especially their box sets. One of the best companies out there releasing Blu-rays, and especially Blu-ray box sets. Just the sturdiness of the set, the whole overall aesthetic appeal for it. They do a great job with the transfers, special features. Special features are just top-notch. And again, if you're a collector, you know, you get the clear cases, the reversible artwork, newly commissioned artwork, disc artwork, a booklet, so all kinds of good stuff. And this has the 5 films are A Film Like Any Other, British Sounds, aka See You at Mao, Wind from the East, Struggles in Italy, and Vladimir and Rosa. And I guess these are all kind of political movies. I think one of them has to do with communism. Yeah, the Communist Manifesto set against the conflict of it. Yeah, so there's a lot of, you know, classism, politics going on in these kind of films. Let's go ahead and see. And here is the thick booklet right here. And again, I love when they have these booklets. So many behind-the-scenes photos and information in here. If you're a fan, you'll definitely appreciate that. So that is pretty awesome. And then here we go. And I like that they have the artwork too. It's the hand that's continually punching through the British flag right there. And this is a 6-disc set. And again, they have the interior artwork, which it's just, I love the heck out of this company. Thank you so much for finally releasing here in the US. They're, you know, initially a British company. And that's just awesome. And I love the Arrow Academy line too. I always say this, I wish Suture would have been the first in their Arrow Academy line here in the US. That's one of my favorite modern black and white movies. It would have been perfectly suited for the Arrow Academy line, which this box set is part of. Again, some of my favorite black and white films, Suture, modern ones anyways, Suture, Polytechnic, and La Haine. But there you go, beautiful, sturdy box set. Some good special features in here as well. And 5 films teaming up with Godard and Gorin. And again, just talking about political movements and classism and stuff like that. I think they're talking about some sexism stuff in here too. But yeah, and then there are some of it's in kind of new, again, it's French New Age stuff, so they're dealing with different frameworks, experimental stuff, relations between image and sound, yeah, and kind of changing the dynamic of how the viewer, you know, takes in cinema. So there you go, Godard and Gorin, 5 films from 1968 to 1971. And there you go, those are the pickups. If you've seen any of these ones, definitely let me know what you think of them, and let me know what your favorite pickup from this lot is as well. Hope everybody's doing well. Take care.